Welcome everyone to another session of our Global Employability Expert Series. I'm Mirta Aguirre, I'm the head of employability of virtual internships, and today we have a very interesting topic. And it is not because it's my topic and it is my webinar, but because I really think as a coach that this is something essential. So thank you very much for being with me today. And today's webinar is Crafting Your Dream Career, a guide to empower your journey. And in today's sessions, we're going to explore this topic, which is super, super important. Many people start reflecting about what they want for their career when they start searching for a job, right? We need to look for a job, and then they said, oh, okay, what do I want to do? In reality, job searching is just one of the many steps towards developing a career. And career development takes time and is an encompassing process. So in this webinar, what we'll do is we'll learn how we should approach really the process of career design by understanding that we need to take care of exploration. We need to consider being out there exploring. This should also be a conscious process. We need also to plan and execute. And we're gonna dive deep into this topic. But first of all, for those who don't know me, I'm Mirta Aguirre. I'm from Argentina. I am a digital nomad. Thanks to virtual internships, I can work from wherever I want. And basically, I'm an educator, a project manager, and a career mentor. I work with students from all over the world, and I help them reflect on what career they want to create and what steps they can take to get there. I'm also super passionate about self-development, interculturality, languages, and as I also love traveling, of course, I have managed to create an international career, studying and working in Europe and in Latin America. And I have a master's degree in education and international development. So without further ado, let's jump into our topic, because this is really something that we want to explore. So, okay, so basically, right, when we think about job life, work life, career development, many of us might have received some ideas, right? We do have in our minds what this thing about job career is. And we may also have some received ideas that we need to explore a little bit. I don't know about you, but when I was a kid, I was often asked, what do you want to be when you grow up? Right? This very fundamental question that we are asked when we are kids. And this is a bit weird because from an early age, it's like we're supposed to know the answer for such a big question, right? Like, what do you want to be when you grow up? Wow. We may also have this other thinking, maybe ourselves, maybe we did it, right? It's like we are 18, finishing high school. We need to decide what we're going to study at university. And we see this as a super big decision because we think, oh, this is the thing I'm going to do the rest of my life, right? If I study law, then naturally I'm going to be a lawyer. So this is something I'm committing myself to the rest of my life. And what I do at university determines how everything will unfold, which is a very heavy thought, right? Because we say, with 18, I need already to know what I want to do. And other received idea we may have is follow your passion and you will create a great career, right? Which sounds amazing. But what happens if I don't have a passion, right? Where is my passion? I don't have one. So these ideas that we received, they have some assumptions, right? Because when we are deciding for our university career at 18, we may feel this is a big decision, because sometimes if we associate that this is what I need to do the rest of my life, well, then this means that I already know what I want, right? What I want for my life. It assumes that I already know who I am, because I need to build a career that aligns with, ideally, with who I am, right? I also know all the other career options there are, like I have all the information to make a good choice, right? And this is problematic because when we are 18, I don't know about you, but I didn't know everything I wanted to do in my life. I didn't have much clarity. And when we are 18, well, we're still developing ourselves, right? Because we learn throughout our lives. So basically thinking that with 18 years old, we can make such a big decision is quite frightening, right? Because it also assumes that we won't change, that this thing I want now when I'm 18, 20, is a thing I will like the rest of my life. Well, let me tell you, if you agree with me, these are ideas that are quite heavy, right? And this also has this underlying assumption that somehow there is only one version for ourselves, right? It's like, I need to decide really well, because this is a big decision, because there's only one version of myself, one thing, one career that fits me. And actually, what we are proposing is like, we can actually have many versions of ourselves, right? Many different situations, many different experiences, jobs, roles that will move us, take us for throughout our life to different versions of ourselves, right? For instance, me, I'm a teacher, so okay, I teach, but I'm also a project manager. I'm also a content creator. I'm also a writer, and this role, each one are different versions of myself that I can combine differently to create a professional life. So this is the good thing. We can reframe. Reframing means, how can I see this situation differently? We can reframe these ideas that we received, right? Which are in a way a limiting belief. That means an idea that limits the way I see the situation. Because if I think that by 18 I need to have everything sorted out, then maybe like, oh, this is the big decision, and if I fail for the rest of my life. Oh, this is quite heavy. Maybe I can see it differently, and I can say, hey, maybe it's okay to be lost. It's okay not to know what I want to do next, or what I want to do as a big thing in my life. It's okay not to have everything figured out. It is okay not to have a passion. You know what? We discover passions while we do things. So the more you do, the more you try, the more you explore, the more chances to discover your passion. So we don't have just one unique way in which our life and career may unfold. We have many lives, we have many versions that we can, let's say, explore, and we can discover, we can create, and we can design our careers. So this approach, designing our careers, is a concept brought by Bill Burnett and David Evans, which are two Stanford professors who took the design thinking process and put it into the career design process. This is a very powerful concept from which I want to start our webinar, right? Really thinking, okay, what if I can design my career, right? And I really recommend that you watch this TED Talk. You have, I'm going to be sharing all the slides with all the information, and every time you see the icon resources, there's something there for you. So you can go and click and watch this amazing TED Talk that will give you lots of interesting insights. So, and how can we design our careers, right? How can we do this, right? And basically, my invitation is for you to take a really proactive approach. And what does this mean? Career designing needs a conscious exploration and proactivity. And we're gonna see what conscious exploration and proactivity means, and how we can really make sure that we're taking the right steps to getting there. So basically, to design our careers, what we need to do is explore and take action. What do we need to explore, and on what do I need to take action? Well, first of all, we will need to explore ourselves and what value we bring to the table. Okay, first of all, like, the person who's going to be working, who's going to be doing this career is me. So I need to know me, and I need to know how worthy I am, what value I bring to the table. So that's the first step, right? I know myself. Then what else do I need to explore? Well, I need to explore other people and create networks, right? Definitely me alone, I cannot go yes, there are some roles we can do alone, but we always work with other people. So I definitely need other people in my path, okay? What else? Well, I definitely need to explore industries, roles, companies. I need to know what's going on there, right? Because I am going into the world proposes different options, and I need to know what options there are so I can learn a little bit to navigate the territory, right? It's like, okay, we have a territory, I may have a map, I need to know where I can go. And definitely we need to explore resources, we need to explore tools, we need to keep on learning. So let's really dig deep into what this means, right? And do we have so far any questions, any comments? How are you receiving this that I'm sharing? Have you heard before about career design? What can you tell me? I want to read your comments. So I know that you're there reflecting. So share with me a little bit what's going on through your mind as we explore in depth. So step number 1, know yourself. As we mentioned, okay, you are a person, dynamic person who changes, right? Are you the same person that you were 3 years ago, 10 years ago? Where were you 10 years ago? School, what you like then is the same thing that you like now? How aware we are about ourselves makes a whole difference. So some things we need to know to really make sure that we are starting to create a career that works for us. Well, first of all, I need to understand what skills and knowledge do I have? What does this mean? When we think about work, of course, work is about solving problems, right? It's about being part of a company that is going to make some impact. So I'm going to be putting all my skills and knowledge to the service of a goal, right? And this is when I really need to think, okay, so what do I know? So what are the things that I'm really an expert on, right? What subjects, what topics, what can I do, right? What are the soft skills and hard skills that I have? You know, soft skills are these, we can call it also people skills or interpersonal skills. Also, these are known as power skills because soft skills are these things, right? These behaviors we can have and that are gained through time. For instance, communication, leadership, teamwork, right? I cannot have a test to test you on leadership or communication. Probably these are things that I will discover while you do this job, right? That you are gonna create, that you are going to develop after many times of working with other people, right? With other teams, and then you develop the skills you need to work with other people. Hard skills are the skills you need to do a specific job that are very, very, very specific to a topic or an area, for instance, coding, right? This is something you can learn through usually formal learning by courses, exercising yourself, and probably I could give you an assignment and tell you, okay, this is what I needed to do, and if you do it well or not, I can test it easily. This is the difference with people's skills in which, well, I need to actually see how you treat other people, how you behave, how you in action work. So you need to know yourself, the skills you have, the knowledge you have, what are the things that you can talk about, you can discuss, where do you bring value? And so in order for this to happen, I really recommend you that you do these personality tests to understand what your strengths are. We need to understand, okay, what are the things where I'm really good at and where's my room for improvement? And this is, of course, you gain all this by reflecting, right? Saying, okay, I need to really do this consciously. Second aspect we need to take care of is like personal characteristics. Who am I, right? This is essential because we, like me as a person, I'm first a person and then an employer, right? It's me who my characteristics, with my energy, with my way of speaking, the way I behave, the way I feel. This is who I am, right? And this is super important that I get to understand me and what things energize me, right? What drains my energy? What am I good at? When people come to me, what are expecting from me, right? So this is really important that you really ask and speak to other people to understand, okay, what makes me me, right? Like, what are these characteristics that I bring into the table when I'm looking for a job? What interests me, right? Because I may be super, let's say that I am talented for math, but I don't like math, you know? Maybe I'm more interested in animals, right? And I can say, okay, maybe I'm not super passionate about math, but I'm really good at translating this math into a data analysis role, and I can work for a vet, for instance. I work for a dog's clinic, right? So I can combine, okay, I'm interested in dogs, I'm interested in animals. Math, it's not a pure scientific role. This is something that works in something aligned with that interests me. So maybe I need to really make sure that the things I'm doing interest me. I can be very good at something that I'm not interested at all. So if I do something that I'm good at and it also interests me, I have much more chances of finding something that I like. Usually, when we know what we like, what we're interested in, we are very passionate to develop that, right? If I'm interested in videos, in cinema, okay, I'm going to be dedicated to go to school and studying about cinema because it's something that interests me. So the more we know what interests us, the more chances we have to align our exploration through this lens. And also something super, super essential for our life and our professional life, we need to know what are our values. And by values, we mean, okay, what are these principles and standards of behavior that I really abide by, that I say, like, for me, this is super important, right? For me, for instance, flexibility when working is super important. I couldn't work somewhere that I need to be from 10 to 6 in an office. I know that's not something I want. I want flexibility. I want to be able to travel, right? Or mental health. For me, I like having a place to work where I'm respected, where if I'm not feeling okay, then they understand I'm a human being. I'm not willing to work for companies that tell me we need to work 40 hours straight and I don't mind how you're feeling, we need to finish this. This is not a value for me, right? So knowing your values is an excellent way to really use it as a compass, right? When you need to decide what roles, when you need to say, okay, maybe this job doesn't pay super well, but it gives me the opportunity to learn a lot in this new area I want to explore. So for me at this moment, learning is more important than making money, because at the moment, and usually in my case, right, I value learning or the impact I do over making money. You will know, this is your career, this is your life. So this needs to come from you. You need to know, okay, what are my values, right? What are the things that I say, yes, this aligns with myself, this doesn't align. And also because companies, right, when you're looking for a job, you need to make sure that also the company's value align yours, right? So it is important to reflect on this. I suggest that you do a list of your 10 most important values, and then you get to reflect a little bit, right? Okay, what is it that for me is important when me putting me out there in a job capacity, right? So these are the 4 main things that you really need to take when thinking about a job, right? Because of course, for a job, you will be asked to do a specific role. For that, you will need your skills and your value and your knowledge. You will also have different types of interactions with other people or not? Will you work alone? Will you need to travel? Will you be all the time at one place? Does that align with who you are, with how you like working, with how you like doing things? Because if you are an extrovert, right, and being with other people energizes you, that's your thing. And if you need to work at a desk alone, 8 hours on your computer, that doesn't sound like something aligned, right? That's probably a struggle for you. So if you know yourself and you say, I need to be working with other people, then you said, okay, maybe I can do this part of my job, making sure I collaborate with other people as well. So knowing yourself, your personal characteristic is super important, and also interests, right? You need to know what drives you. What are the things that you could be learning all day long? That you said, okay, where you can get in flow. Flow state is when your mind is super connected and you say like, oh, this is where I am. And your values, of course, as I mentioned, to use them as a compass. So far, so good. How does it sound? Do you think, are you reflecting this way? Have you reflected this way when thinking of your professional development? Share your comments. And so, some resources, I really recommend that you do this mind mapping exercise. This is a great exercise to make sure you reflect on the value you bring. And I also have another webinar for you regarding this topic. You can see it there. And there's a nice assessment from NYU University that also allows you to reflect more on this topic. So we mentioned we need to know ourselves, okay? What else is essential when creating my professional path? Well, second super important aspect is our networks. Networking is super important. And I want to make sure about what networking is, right? Because sometimes we have this very narrow-minded idea about networking. Networking means sharing business cards. Networking means having a super efficient pitch to catch people in events. Yeah, okay, that's networking too. But when I'm talking about networking, I'm talking about creating a circle of people who can teach you, who can inspire you, who can connect you, who can give you a new perspective, a new idea. Oftentimes, not to say most of the times, opportunities come from somewhere we hadn't considered previously. Sometimes we can be very intentional and straightforward, and we can be specific when reflecting on which people I should approach, who I should speak with. But other times, the opportunities come from very random places, or places we traditionally couldn't be thinking of, right? Or connections that are not so linear. What do I mean? Let me explain it a bit. I had the opportunity to study and work in many different places. And all the opportunities I worked, for instance, when I was 19, I went to France to teach Spanish. And this was a program from the French embassy. And I found this through a friend. A friend of mine came and said, hey, we both love languages. We both love French. Why don't we do this? In this case, I wasn't looking for it. It came to me. Why? One might say, it came from thin air. No, I had a friend, a really great friend of mine who knew my interests, who knew me, who saw this opportunity and thought of me, right? So someone, your friend, maybe technically not a professional, right, connection, knows you, reads something and says, hey, this is a good opportunity. Sounds like something you would like, right? Or also, I had the opportunity to apply for a master's scholarship in the UK. This was through Facebook. I was scrolling, I was liking, and then I found this opportunity. It wasn't active, but before that, there was a whole previous work I did. Why? Because I did follow all Facebook pages, on scholarships, on companies I like, on topics I'm interested in. So really creating a network means, first of all, using LinkedIn. I assume all of you have LinkedIn, right? If I conducted a survey here, I hope I could, of course, see that most of you have LinkedIn. If you don't have, you need to go and create your account. You need to have an updated profile because this is where people are going to find you, right? And LinkedIn is a super powerful tool for connection, right? And when we say connection means this is like a slow meal, you know? This is like a process that takes time, right? To cook. Sometimes you meet someone at an event, right? And then 5 years later, you reconnect through by a situation that is like very random, or they make a nice comment on LinkedIn, you click, you like, you connect. Well, for me, I actually found this job thanks to my master's degree, because I did my master's degree, and as a colleague, at the moment, it was a colleague of mine, and we had a super nice relationship. We were not friends, but really, you know, these really nice classmates. And then I went back to Argentina. She stayed in Europe. We didn't speak for 4 years. And one day I see she shares all these posts, job posts online. And I'm like, oh, this is something that can be done remotely. And I don't know, I approached her and, hey, long time no speak. I see you're sharing these, like, can I apply? I'm from Argentina, I'm in Argentina. She's like, yeah. And so actually I found this thanks to my colleague. And well, today she's my boss, which is very nice. And this was super random, you know, because I went to university to study, to learn, to keep on, of course, exploring more in my field. And I did a connection that 4 years later paid off, right? And I wasn't, it wasn't, what I'm meaning is like, it wasn't something that super systematic, you know, it was more something that took time. I relaxed over time by always making sure that I'm moving, right? This is the idea of the approach I'm proposing is you need to be conscious, right? Being conscious means being intentional, means like not saying, oh, you know, I don't know what's going to happen. No, it means like, okay, let's see, let's reflect, let's connect our neurons, right? And while we do this reflection and this exploration, we keep on moving. We keep on moving how? By connecting to people, by having our LinkedIn updated. Go to online events. Go to your university, go to your career service department, ask what is going on. Do you have any workshops to make sure that I'm staying polished, that I can improve my CV, get also ideas, connect to other people. And something that is super important is to find a mentor. You know, a mentor, a coach is someone who can pass their experience on you. Probably a mentor is someone who's been there where you are and who is willing to share their knowledge, their experience. And mentoring is super essential because when we have someone who can give us advice, usually they have also hints to give us, right? It's like, oh, have you heard about this company? Or have you heard about this concept? Have you heard this new tool for this thing you like? And so basically, I really, really, really strongly suggest that everyone you meet, you include them on your LinkedIn profile, you send them a connection request with a nice personalized message. Hi, Paul, we met at the education conference at the University of Pennsylvania last week. It was really nice speaking to you. Happy to connect. And then I can say a little bit more. It was amazing to talk about education and what we can do moving forward with my background, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just leaving a message there. So maybe in the future, when Paul next time in 2 years shares something about education, or that he's looking for a new colleague, then I can reach out and ask more, right? So this is a very good piece of advice, because sometimes you meet people, you add them to your LinkedIn profile, but you don't send any message. And like 10 years later, you said, oh, what do I know this person for? But if you have a message there, you already know, right? And also, if you cannot attend events, but you have the speaker list, you can add these people also to your LinkedIn account. And therefore, you can be updated on the content they have, on the organizations they follow. And therefore, you create your network, your LinkedIn network, right? By following companies, by following people, by following organizations that you are interested in. So networking is something that you need to start doing right now if you don't do it. And do it intentionally means every time you meet someone new, be the person they remember as, oh, I had a really interesting conversation with this person. It was nice speaking to them, right? Sometimes it's not even about going to the deep subject of my work or my career, but it's about creating a connection that the other person feels comfortable talking to us. Someone that you said, I could definitely have a coffee with this person. And therefore, in the future, you can also have a virtual coffee. This is called informational interview, which means you can approach someone and ask and say, hey, would you have 10 minutes to do a quick online meeting? And I'd like to ask you some questions about your career, what you do, even if it's not for you to look for a job, but actually to meet someone who's perhaps doing what you'd like to do or something you're interested in. And by speaking with this person, you can gain a lot of insight of this thing that interests you. So networking is people, basically, right? People are the second step or second stone in our career design. And then, of course, we need to reflect on the kind of job and career related specific that we like, right? Because if we follow this path, we already have an idea. I already have an idea of who I am. I did all my introspective reflection. I spoke to other people who told me, oh, Mirta, you're really good for this and that. Sometimes when we speak with other people, we may have lots of insights, things that we didn't consider about ourselves. And we said, oh, thank you. I hadn't seen it this way, right? So once we have all this reflection on ourselves, we need to also do this reflection on the job, right? Okay, what kind of job would I like to have? And this is when it comes, right, a very important aspect, which means, okay, what are the things that I like or that really relate to my person, my personality, and everything that I've been reflecting on the first step when it translates to my work life? What are the things that I like? What are the things that I don't like? Not related to work. Journaling is a super important and incredible tool, right? It's like really making sure you're writing down your insights, what you learn about yourself, right? What are the things that really like you? What are the things that you really want more of in a job? And maybe you can tell me, okay, but I still didn't have a job. So how do I know? Well, if you haven't had a job yet, probably you have participated at a project at university. Maybe you participated at an activity with your sports club, or you volunteer, right? And let's say at a church. So you put yourself out there, and you have these ideas, okay? When you know, like, okay, when I volunteer or if I participate, what are the characteristics that appear of me? Am I the one who always takes the lead? I'm the one who sits and waits for other people to tell them what to do? Do I like when it's me who has to go and speak with other people, or I prefer like maybe no, I want to stay shy, right? How I felt doing this project. And if you had, of course, job experience, then you can reflect, okay, in my previous job experiences. What did I like doing? What was that I was like full of energy in this flow state where I felt like that's something that I enjoy doing, or something that don't. Again, no, this wasn't for me. It can be the situation, the context, the task itself. So knowing about how we match to a related work, that is a reflection that I need to do. Also, well, I need to know about the job and the job stage. What does it mean? Well, this means like when I think about a job, what is it that comes to mind, right? What is it important to me in a job? You know, like what do I want to get? Do I have some kind of vision where I say like, I really think my life should be this, or I would like for myself for this to happen. And this is when we need to be very, very flexible. And this is when I really encourage you to watch this really interesting TED Talk, where the Stanford professors, basically what they say is, we have this idea that it is somehow there's a perfect life for us, or one way our life could unfold, right? And we design this future. Some people have this, which is perfect. At the same time, well, life may not turn out to be like we expected it. And maybe, for instance, me, myself, I wanted to be a diplomat, right? Because I studied international relations. I love speaking languages. I love traveling. And I said, yeah, I want to be a diplomat. Turns out I started traveling, living abroad. And in Argentina, you can pass all your exams to be a diplomat until the age of 35. And I traveled abroad a lot. I was very happy. But then I turned 35 and I didn't have the opportunity to take the test. And for me, that was quite so my diplomatic life won't exist because I missed that, right? And maybe I was a little bit sad because I had this idea that my life could be working for the UN. But in turn, as I started really reflecting on what I really wanted for myself, which actually I didn't know what I wanted. That was my thing. And this is, I'm sharing also on a personal note, I was super lost. I finished university. I was like, okay, I studied international relations. I want to be a diplomat, but honestly, I don't think I'm interested in politics. So that's quite a problem, right? If you want to be a diplomat. So I kind of accepted that maybe this is not my thing. I didn't know what my thing was, so I basically jumped from experience to experience. I had a very open mind. When someone said, Mirta, would you like to? Yes. And well, I didn't tell you what, yes, you know, at a moment of my life, I said yes to everything I was proposed. Doing a workshop, working on a fair weekend, like trying out many things as possible. And then I discovered that I loved speaking with people. I discovered that I loved teaching. I discovered that actually I loved doing that. And I was like, oh, this is really cool because I'm enjoying doing things I had never thought I could do or that I would like to do, because I was thinking myself in this more formal role, diplomatic role, right? Like more, like following, rules and ideas. And then I discovered myself in this very relaxed environment, working with other people, collaborating. And I discovered lots of interests. I polished my skills because, for instance, I started working for an NGO. I created actually my NGO. I didn't know how to do it, so I had to Google how to create an NGO. Oh, you need to write a project. Oh, okay. So my interest made me move and connect with other people all the time. And that I understood later on, that my life had different versions, right? Maybe there could have been a diplomatic version of my life, but this time I was doing the role, my version of Mirta, the teacher, Mirta, the NGO worker, Mirta, the writer. So these are different versions that are also nice with me because they actually align with my mission, with my vision. And that's what I was telling you. If you have already a vision of what you want in life, go and follow it, pursue it by all means. But if you don't have that clear vision, you need to make sure that always try new things, right? So you can explore more, have more ideas, more inputs, and therefore say, this is what I'm interested in, right? And once you find that, you said, oh, this is really cool. This is something I like, you know? Maybe it takes time for you to develop new skills, right? Or sometimes even we may say, I'm not sure this job that they're offering that I'm having at the moment really fulfills me. So I'm not very convinced. Well, then that's a good opportunity for you to do some exploration. What is it that you don't like it? Or maybe it's a good opportunity to say, yes, I'm going to take this job for 6 months while I get ready and polish my skills so I can take my next step into that thing I like. I see exhaust. You have a question. I'm not sure if you can use the microphone if you want to ask, or you can use the chat. I see a raised hand. If you want to share something. Oh, I'm not. Please feel free to share whatever. I have two hands, raised hands. Exhaust, Stacy, I've opened your mic if you want to share something. No? On Katemwe, you want to say something too? Okay, remember you have the Q&A or also the chat. So if you have these goals, go ahead if you have this vision. But if you don't have this clear vision, then make sure that you are aligning yourself. What if you have a vision and you don't have the person to coach you? What I can do? That's nice. That's nice. Well, I think that it is important that you, in having this reflection, if you already have a clear vision, then you can definitely use many things that are outside. And by outside, I mean techniques and exercises. So you make sure that you have this vision. And I wouldn't be so sure that you don't have anyone, maybe you don't have an individual coach for yourself, someone that can dedicate to sitting with you and doing a formal process, but probably you may have other people who can guide you throughout the way by building this network I was talking about. What's your vision? If you have a clear vision, then connect with people who are already doing this vision. Right? This vision for you is your future. So go and find someone who is living your future, right? For instance, you want to be a data scientist? Okay. Do you know any data scientist? Someone you admire, someone you like, you know, go speak with this person. Ask them, how did you get to do this? How did you get to have this level of expertise? How, who did you connect to? You know, go and speak with someone who's already living your vision and dig a little bit how they do it. And then you can learn a lot. Does that make sense, Katanwe? Yes, thank you. And so definitely we need to make sure that we have, if not a super clear idea of our vision, at least we have our interests, our values, our curiosity working towards finding that vision, right? And of course, we need to make sure to understand the industry we want to go into, right? Understanding what different kinds of roles there are. So you need to do your research, right? You need to go and really find what's going on in your field and your role, follow experts on the field, be active. And of course, gather a lot of experience, right? If you're in your 20s, this is the best time for you to go try and fail. And I think that someone is asking here, what are some common pitfalls to avoid when crafting a career path? I think that one main thing is flexibility, right? Really having the idea that we may have different roles, different jobs that all get to nurture us in a way that is positive for us. Maybe it's not a career job, right? But maybe we can learn something to this job, even if it's like things I don't like, things I do like, things I want, things I don't want. And if I have this flexible mindset, I can learn to really experience and reframe experiences differently. This means I can see like a very bad job I had, like, oh, this is terrible, my professional career is over. Or I can say, what can I learn from this? Maybe there's something here that I missed, right? Maybe I didn't learn how to put certain limits and this got too complicated for me. Maybe in the future, this is something I can keep on working on. And by seeing our experiences as something that we can learn of, it's much more fulfilling, because maybe we don't have at the moment a job that is really like what we're looking for. But if we take the time to say, okay, where do I want to be, right? What do I need to do to get there? And what happens if I don't get there? What other alternatives are there for me? What other versions of me are there for me? How I can think in a way that if this doesn't happen just like I want, what else could I be doing, right? I wasn't a diplomat. My life, I don't know, it's gone pretty well. I get also to travel around the world, speak languages, meet other people. So my need for this kind of connection in my job is fulfilled. So I'm like, this is good. And when I realized that the mission I could do could change, or the job could change, but the mission, my impact would be aligned with how I want to live my professional life, I was like, oh, this is really good. So I could say, have an open mind, have flexibility, learn to fall and get up. You know, professional life, you will have also moments that are not going to go as planned. Don't give up, right? And also make sure you said, okay, maybe really my job is not giving me everything I want, which it could be great if it could give you everything you want. Usually that's not possible. But maybe your job is a tool to allow you to do other things outside your job. Maybe you like writing, maybe you like doing sports. These are things that perhaps you can do thanks to having a job that is 8 to 6, that pays you okay. Maybe it's not the job of your life, but that gives you time to go on your professional, on your personal projects, on your more social side of you, which also can give you other projects. So life is encompassing, and what I'm proposing is like, let's have this flexibility to adapt. And so after you basically reflected on what kind of job you would like to have, and here you can also do some retrospectives, reflect, okay, what experiences you had that also allowed you to get in touch with this exploration, right? This can be technology, art, scholarships, everything we've discussed, right? And the last step, which I'm putting in order just to create something that is easy for us to understand, right? Get to know yourself, get to know other people, get to know what's out there, and get to create your career toolkit. These are things that they all happen at the same time, right? I'm putting it in this framework so you can reflect better. While I'm wrapping up, I want to share a survey so you can share your insights, your feedback from this webinar with us. So thanks for completing it before we finish the seminar. So basically, when I speak about career toolkit, it means you need to have, your box with tools, which is like, okay, I need to do this. Who could I speak to? In my career toolkit, I will have all the things that are going to help me throughout my career. My connections, my courses, the people I know. So basically, and of course, all the documents and pieces that are going to allow me to do the job search, right? This means you want to have a nice CV, you want to have your interview skills sharpened so you can have really nice interviews. And in this presentation, I'm sharing all the resources you need to do so, We have amazing webinars on how to create a CV, on how to create a LinkedIn profile. If you go into this presentation and watch all the information we have for you, then you're going to be super great. So make sure you have your material ready, you understand this job search, so you can articulate a storytelling. All right, so you can say, okay, this is me, this is what I have to offer, and this is what I'm gonna bring to your company. And for that, of course, you need to do this whole exercise. Of course, keep on learning, because learning is the way that we're gonna be expanding ourselves. And definitely we need to develop the right mindset. Mindset is essential. Mindset is how we approach a situation, right? Like we mentioned, maybe we can take an opportunity to learn. If it's not like, I know I won't do this job forever, so I will concentrate on learning skills that they will be useful in my next job. So having the right mindset, being flexible, really understanding that part of the process is making mistakes and going up again and saying, hey, let's go over again, just like life, right? And know where to go for help, right? If you know who can help you or who can give you an idea that can help you, then excellent. So basically, the idea is that we are all the time exploring, right? And we as people, like my invitation is keep on exploring jobs, activities, people, travels. Even if you say, I'm not convinced, this is not maybe the job of my life, maybe it's not, maybe it's something you're gonna do a couple of months, until you then can take the next step. When you explore, you will learn what you like, what you don't like, what you want, what you don't want. The more you explore, the more you learn. The more you learn, the more you grow. The more you expand. And all these, as you really get to know yourself, you keep on doing this process, discover what you like, what interests you, what new skills you can develop, while using your values as a compass, right? And that will allow you to move to your next version. And we may have lots of different versions of ourselves, and that's good. And remember, it is okay to feel lost sometime. It is okay not to know what we want to do for the rest of our lives. Maybe it's good enough to know where we want to grow into. What's my next step, right? The more conscious exploration you do, the more chances to succeed. So I really invite you to keep on walking the walk. And I don't know if you watched this speech by Steve Jobs, which is a great speech. And something that I like, it says, you cannot connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backwards. So you have to trust that the dots will somehow connect in your future. That's how career development we can think, right? Maybe right now we are not so sure, but when we look back, we said, now I see this job allowed me actually to learn this, to move forward, to do this and that. So I hope you are having some interesting reflections. And I have Exos here that has a question. Do you want to write down your question? And the rest, if you have some insights you want to share, can you share one main key takeaway you're taking from this webinar? I see lots of raised hands. If you want to write on the chat, or if you want to use your mic also. Yes.
Hello.
Yes. Hi.
Yeah. Just thank you for this webinar. Actually, it's useful and helpful for us because it's touch for current situation in every workplace. Um, I need to discuss with you and share and give you your tips. If you already join in the workplace and this workplace is still under we can say under development, so it's no clear job description, no boundaries, um, no specific task, no objectives, no KPIs, just join for build. So sometimes we get confused about it, what I have to do, what I have to do with them, how can I reduce, how can, because a lot of interference between each department. So I get confused. Sometimes we get a lot of tasks, sometimes nothing to do. So in this workplace, what's the best way to deal with them?
If I understood correctly, you are mentioning, I don't know if this is something that is happening to you or happened in the past, but you're describing a situation where you enter a new job and then the tasks you need to do are not clear, the responsibility among departments are not clear. That's what I'm listening. So therefore it's like challenging to work there. That's what you're sharing?
Yes, exactly. You understand me very well.
Okay. Well, first of all, I would suggest that you really get to speak to your supervisor or the person who is in charge, because it is challenging to work when we don't know exactly what it is that we need to do, what are our responsibilities, who we need to speak with to get some things that we may need as a part of a company where are also other people speaking. So I think that one big super skill to develop is communication. Sometimes communication at work can be challenging because we don't want to, I don't know, sound perhaps that we're complaining, or we don't have enough clarity on what we want to say to our supervisor. So developing communication skills is super useful. And my recommendation is that whenever you need to discuss important things of work, when you think that clearly this is something I need to do my job correctly, I suggest that you really think in advance on what you really want to speak with your supervisor, like in a really assertive conversation where you can explain, you can say, I've been working here for X amount of time. I'm committed to my job. At the same time, I feel I still don't have clarity on what my responsibilities are. What is it that what I have to do? For me, I need to be able to have clarity on this to move forward. So I really suggest that, first of all, you assess the situation clearly, that you make sure that you are not missing anything, that really this is the situation, that there's no clear job description, that there's not much information for you to work on. And so you can really understand what you need and have a real honest conversation with your supervisor, explaining what things are missing for you to be able to contribute to the company, right? Because sometimes if we don't have what we need, it is difficult for us to really be able to, well, bring value to the table, right? So my suggestion would revolve around that. Does that help a little bit? Well, we're running a little bit late. Thank you very much. I love to hear your comments. Someone else has have a question and comment. I see. Okay, I'm reading really nice. To read your comments. Okay, well, we have a lot of questions, very specific questions, so I'm afraid I not reply to them because these go to very specific personal situations. But I'm really excited to connect. If you want to keep on discussing, I will share these slides with you because they have a lot of information, which is really good. So if you watch these webinars, if you follow the slides I'm sharing, you have lots of resources to make sure you are with the right foot to discover and design a career. So thank you very much. Please complete the survey we've just shared, that my colleague shared on your on the chat. And our next webinar is going to be in 2 weeks, and we're going to discuss a very interesting topic, which is the difference between being hireable and employable, to make sure that we are like also working on ourselves. Similar a little bit to this one. Yes, we will be sharing the slides. The email will come, the video will come later on as we need to edit it, but soon you will get all the slides with all the information. And if you can share one word or one last final thought on your chat with what's your takeaway from this webinar, I'd really, really, really appreciate that. Meanwhile, you can also add me to your LinkedIn account so you can start practicing and making sure you nurture your LinkedIn network. Well, thanks for everything. I see here someone who says my biggest takeaway is really making sure I'm taking the opportunity to learn in each new experience. Yeah, that's a really nice takeaway. Someone here saying the idea that most resonated with me is the idea of being flexible. Yes, flexibility, super, super important. So thank you very much for your time. I hope you enjoyed it. Add me to your LinkedIn account, and I will see you in 2 weeks. Have a wonderful rest of your week. Bye.